And a very good Tuesday evening to you. I'm FOX54 Weather Impact Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Remember, we had a couple of rounds of severe weather move through North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee Sunday afternoon, and then we had another round of showers and thunderstorms move through the Tennessee Valley Sunday evening into the overnight. With that second round, we had a couple of different severe thunderstorm warnings, but other than that, we were just talking about some wind and heavy rain. We did have a couple of tornado warnings issued, specifically across northeast Alabama through the middle and later part of Sunday afternoon, and that actually yielded one EF0 tornado over in Jackson County. It was only on the ground for 10 minutes, 4:34 to 4:44 p.m. It was an EF0 tornado. It had maximum winds of 85 miles per hour. It had a maximum width of 140 yards and a path length just over 8 miles, right around 8.05 miles. Now, the National Weather Service noted that the only damage seen in Jackson County was tree damage. There was no structural damage, no other impact on society other than a number of trees were knocked over. Now, that comes with a little bit of an asterisk because the National Weather Service also noted in their report that obviously, considering the amount of rain we've seen in the month of May, a lot of those trees may have not even necessarily been knocked over by a tornado, but they just simply could have been knocked over because it was a touch on the windy end of the spectrum, especially Sunday evening outside of the tornado warning. And when you combine the wind that we saw Sunday evening with the saturated soils, a lot of the trees could have fallen over during that time as well. So they went with an EF0 tornado, but then put a little bit of an asterisk that the combination of wind and saturated soils also may have played a part in knocking over a lot of the trees, but still tacking on yet another tornado to what has been a rather busy week across the Tennessee Valley. Live look over in DeKalb County this evening, still talking about that mostly cloudy or that overcast sky. We have seen a couple of breaks in the cloud cover over the last couple of hours in different locations across the Tennessee Valley, but those breaks in the cloud cover have been somewhat short-lived. We're looking northbound on Memorial Parkway, still talking about that mostly cloudy or that overcast sky. If we were like a couple of months later, more than a couple, I guess, if we were getting into October, maybe you would anticipate that it'd be kind of a cool fall evening across the Tennessee Valley. No, it's a little deceptive. If you step outside, it's going to kind of feel on the warmer end of the spectrum despite a lack of sunshine. Dew points are sitting in the upper 60s and lower 70s, so it feels unbelievably humid outside. I believe I have one more stop for you. Yeah, I do, from the top of Green Mountain. Once again, a mostly cloudy or an overcast sky. Look at this. Air temperature sitting in the lower 70s, right around 73 degrees, but a dew point sitting at 71. Our air is incredibly saturated, and you're going to be able to feel that if you're going to be heading out the door for dinner over the next couple of minutes. Normally, I would suggest trying to sit outside, at least if it's dry in your specific location. Yeah, today might be one of those nights if you're going to be going out for dinner just to eat inside. We have seen a lot of rain across the Tennessee Valley so far in the month of May. In total, we have seen 9.46 inches of rain. If we were to receive absolutely no more rain at the Huntsville International Airport through the last couple of days of the month, May 2025 would rank as the fourth wettest May on record. We can look at this another way. The Huntsville International Airport has seen 193% of what would be considered a normal amount of rain over a 30-day period. So if a normal amount of rain over a 30-day period is 5 inches, the Huntsville International Airport has seen that 5 inches plus another 93%. Look at this. ARAB has seen 223% of what would be considered a normal amount of rain over a 30-day period. So if a normal amount of rain is 5 inches, they have seen that plus 123% more. Florence has seen 135%, 143%. In Fayetteville, up in southern Middle Tennessee. Yeah, we have seen a lot of rain across the Tennessee Valley. And look at the calendar as far as the month of May is concerned. There's a couple of consistencies that I want to point out. One, it has rained every single weekend in the month of May. We did not have one dry weekend in the month of May. The other consistency here, and this is kind of a fun one to acknowledge, and I don't know why it's set up like this. I guess it's just how it worked. We were dry every single Thursday in the month of May. Now, that streak is probably going to come to an end this Thursday. There's rain in the forecast as we head into Thursday. So 4 out of the 5 Thursdays were dry in the month of May. Have a look at the rain chances across the Tennessee Valley as we head into the middle and later part of the work week. Rain chances stick with us Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, though as I'll show you in Futurecast, it does look like Wednesday is actually going to be on the drier end of the spectrum. And then we really begin to dry out Saturday, Sunday, and then through Monday and Tuesday of next week. By the time we get to the lunch hour on Saturday, in most cases, we're looking at another 1 to 2 inches of rain across the Tennessee Valley. Now, these numbers could vary a little bit, kind of dependent on where the heaviest bands of precipitation end up establishing themselves. Obviously, rain that we don't need across the Tennessee Valley. We are still talking about a little bit of rain this evening. Not everybody, though. We're mostly dry across northeast Alabama, Jackson, DeKalb, and Marshall counties. We're kind of dry across northwest Alabama, Colbert down into Franklin County. We're still talking about a little bit of rain across Lauderdale County. We're talking about a little bit of rain across Limestone County, and then up across southern Middle Tennessee. And we're still talking about a little bit of rain across Morgan County back there into Decatur. I actually thought that was going to zoom in, so I'll go back to the radar and show you this. Beginning to see a little bit of rain move into the Huntsville Metro, back across 565, across I-65, Decatur, down into Hartselle, Priceville, talking about a little bit of rain. So if you know somebody traveling across the I-65 corridor, specifically in Morgan County this evening, they're probably going to run into a little bit of rain. Maybe they'll hear a couple of rumbles of thunder. It might take them just a couple of extra minutes as we're talking about some pockets of heavier rain there across I-65 and then back across 565 heading into the city of Huntsville. That activity beginning to move into the Huntsville Metro and probably going to move in over the next couple of minutes. Here's Futurecast as we head into the lunch hour on Wednesday. A couple of isolated showers are going to be possible, but like I said, I actually think the vast majority of Wednesday is probably going to end up being dry. I also think Futurecast is downplaying it a little bit, but at the same time, I think we are going to get significant periods of dry time Wednesday afternoon. I think the cloud cover is going to begin to break up just a little bit, and we're going to get to enjoy a little bit of sunshine. We stick with the mostly dry conditions as we head into Wednesday evening. Good thing, because the Rocket City Trash Pandas, they got rained out tonight. Well, it wasn't even necessarily that they got rained out tonight. It was that the field conditions had deteriorated to such an extent that they actually postponed the game earlier this afternoon. Hopefully, they can play a little bit of baseball tomorrow evening. Widespread rain builds back into the Tennessee Valley late Wednesday night, and then as we head into the earliest part of Thursday morning, could get a couple of embedded thunderstorms here as well. A lot of that activity going to begin to trickle off across the Tennessee Valley as we head into the Thursday morning commute, but we're never really going to fully get rid of the rain across the Tennessee Valley. It's going to stick with us in some capacity through Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, and then even as we head into the overnight early into your Friday morning. Temperatures across the Tennessee Valley, many of sitting somewhere in the mid-70s, 75 in Athens, 75 in Huntsville, 73 in Scottsboro, a pair of 74s for Pulaski and Fayetteville up in southern Middle Tennessee. Fort Payne, you currently sitting at 70 degrees. A little bit of patchy dense fog is liable to develop across the Tennessee Valley. I ran into this on my way home from work last night. Now, I typically run into this because I end up having to go up and over the mountain every night, so I run into this fog, and definitely had some fog last night, and I would anticipate that I'm going to have to deal with a little bit of fog tonight when I head home from work. Temperature is going to be in the mid-60s tonight. I've got a low temperature right around 65 degrees. Now, if you want to get a little bit of yard work done tomorrow and you have a chance to do it, well, I might take advantage of it. Yes, the grass is going to be wet, so maybe that's going to deter you. Personally, I probably wouldn't mow my grass just because the grass is going to be so wet, but maybe if it's just overly long and you're dying to do it, I do think you would actually have an opportunity to get it done tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s. Mid and upper 70s once again as we head into your Thursday. Now, these numbers well below where we should be this time of year. The average high temperature as we get ready to close out the month of May and head into the early days of June at around 85 or 86 degrees. Don't forget to be connected with me on social media. Right there's my Facebook, Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. There's my Twitter/X, and there's my Instagram. I always tell people you can follow me on Instagram if you want. You get more glimpses into my personal life, I suppose. I really don't post a whole lot of weather on my Instagram. Now, I forgot to ask ChatGPT for a new question, so today is a repeat. So if you were here yesterday, sorry, today is a repeat. But maybe you'll enjoy it, and you already know the answer. So if you were watching yesterday, don't tell the people you're currently watching with, and maybe you can give them the answer really fast. Two trains are 300 miles apart and traveling toward each other. Train A is moving at 70 miles per hour. Train B is moving at 60 miles per hour. How long until they meet? Somebody just really wanted to make me do math. Joke's on them. I didn't do the math. I plugged this into ChatGPT. Listen, I did enough math when I was in college. I don't want to do any more math. I had to calculate the dew point by hand at one point. I had to calculate the lifted condensation level, which is the level at which clouds form, by hand. You want to know how many times I've done that since college? Absolutely none. So I didn't want to do this math either. So according to ChatGPT, it'll take about 2.5 hours before they meet. If you have a question, you can ask me on social media or you can text me, 256-382-5330. 2692, and I'll do my best to respond. 80 degrees on Wednesday, 78 Thursday, 75 on Friday. Now the weekend actually looks quite nice across the Tennessee Valley. Good thing, because I got a lot I want to get done. Didn't get any of it done last weekend. It rained and then there was severe weather and I was here, so I didn't get any of the work done that I wanted to do last weekend. Pair of 78s, plenty of sunshine. We begin to warm things up as we head into the early part of next week. 83 on Monday, 86 degrees by the time we get to next Tuesday.